Hi friends, good afternoon to all of you. Welcome to our channel Honest Advisors. So today our topic of discussion is assessment of working capital. In working capital assessment, we'll be discussing concept of working capital, gross working capital, net working capital gap and working capital cycle. So friend, let us see what is working capital. Working capital is the difference between a company's current assets such as cash, account receivable, customers' unpaid bills, and inventories of raw materials and finished goods, and its current liabilities such as accounts payable. Working capital is a measure of company's liquidity, operational efficiency, and its short-term financial health. If a company has substantial positive working capital, then it should have the potential to invest and grow. If a company's current assets do not exceed its current liabilities, then it may have trouble growing or paying back creditors or even go bankrupt. A company is having negative working capital if the ratio of current assets to liabilities is less than 1. Positive working capital indicates that company can fund its current operations and invest in future activities and growth. High working capital isn't always a good thing. It might indicate that the business has too much inventory or is not investing its excess cash. Working capital that is in line with or higher than the industry average for a company of comparable size is generally considered acceptable. Less working capital may indicate a risk of distress or default. The formula for working capital is current assets minus current liabilities. Current assets listed on a company's balance sheet includes cash, accounts receivable, inventory and other assets that are expected to be liquidated or turned into cash in less than 1 year. Current liabilities includes accounts payable, wages, taxes payable, and the current portion of the long-term debt. Current assets are available within 12 months. Current liabilities are due within 12 months. Now, let us see the concept of working capital. The funds invested in current assets are termed as working capital. It is the fund that is needed to run the day-to-day operations of the business. It circulates in the business like the blood circulates in a living body. Generally, working capital refers to the current assets of a company that are changed from one form to another in the ordinary course of business. That is, from cash to inventory to works in progress to finished goods to account receivables, and from receivables to cash. There are two concepts in respect of working capital. First is gross working capital and second is net working capital. Gross working capital. The sum total of all current assets of a business concern is termed as gross working capital. Gross working capital is equals to stocks plus debtors plus receivables plus cash. Net working capital. The difference between current assets and current liabilities of a business concern is termed as net working capital. Net working capital is equals to stocks plus debtors plus receivables plus cash minus creditors minus payables. Working capital gap. The working capital gap in simple terms is the difference between the total current assets and total current liabilities other than bank borrowings. It can also be defined as long-term sources minus long-term uses. Working capital gap is equals to current assets minus current liabilities other than bank borrowings. For example, if current assets is 100 and current liabilities is 80 and bank liability is 20, then current liability other than bank borrowings is 80 minus 20 equals to 60. The working capital gaps arise to be 100 minus 60, which equals to 40. By this example, you would have understood that working capital gap is equals to current assets minus current liabilities other than bank borrowings. The net working capital gap is long-term sources of the company less long-term uses of the company. It means the surplus is long-term sources like owner capital and term loans less long-term uses like fixed assets, miscellaneous and non-current assets, intangible assets. Working capital cycle. Working capital cycle refers to the time taken by an organization to convert its net current assets and current liabilities into cash. It reflects the ability and efficiency of the company to manage its short-term liquidity position. Calculated in days is a time duration between buying goods to manufacture products and generation of cash revenue on selling the products. The shorter the working capital cycle, the faster the company is able to free up its cash stuck in working capital. If the working capital cycle is too long, then the capital gets locked in the operational cycle without earning any returns. Therefore, a business tries to shorten the working capital cycle to improve the short-term liquidity condition and increase their business efficiency. In the figure you can see the working capital cycle. Cash is used to purchase the raw materials, inventories, which is converted into finished goods. Then these goods are sold and it is converted into account receivables. When we receive the payment from the buyers, it is converted into cash. It is working capital cycle. The working capital cycle focuses on management of four key elements, viz. Cash, receivables, that is debtors, payables, that is creditors, and inventories, that is stock. A business needs to have complete control over these four items in order to have a fairly controlled and efficient working capital cycle. Now we have understood what is working capital and what is working capital cycle. Now we will look at the methods of assessment of working capital. In banks, three methods of assessment of working capital is used. MPBF method, that is maximum permissible bank finance method. It is also called Tandon's first method and Tandon's second method. Second one is turnover method. It is also called Nayak committee norms. Third one is cash budget method. And then we will see important things to note in assessment of working capital. The basis of all these methods has arrived over the past by the recommendations of following committees. Banks in India are free to use their own method of lending. Normally, banks use the turnover method, which is also called Nayak committee norms, for assessment of working capital limits up to rupees 2 crores and rupees 7.50 crore for SMEs. The other two traditional methods of assessment of working capital limits are MPBF and cash budget method, depending upon the requirements of the customers. The level of limit for each type of facilities under MPBF method will depend upon the nature of current assets less suitable margin within the overall permissible bank finance. In July 1974, the study group headed by Shri P.L. Tandon has framed guidelines for working capital finance by banks. The recommendations are known as Tandon Committee recommendations. Out of three methods of assessment of working capital limits proposed by Tandon Committee, RBI has accepted method 1 and method 2, which are explained below. The MPBF method has first method of lending, second method of lending, and lending based on CMA projections. Let us see Tandon's first method, also called first method of lending. In this method, the borrower is to arrange 25% of working capital gap as margin. Now, let us take an example of a company which has total current assets of rupees 100 and other current liabilities without working capital facilities from bank is rupees 20. We will compute the maximum permissible bank finance under method 1 as total current assets equals to rupees 100, other current liabilities equals to rupees 20, working capital gap is equals to total current assets minus other current liabilities. 100 minus 20 equals to 80. Now, 25% of working capital gap is equals to 80 into 25 divided by 100, which comes to rupees 20, which is called minimum net working capital. In this case, the maximum permissible bank finance arrives to be rupees A minus B, that is rupees 80 minus rupees 20, which equals to rupees 60, that is working capital gap minus margin contribution. 25% margin contribution of the borrower gives us maximum permissible bank finance. MPBF from bank under the first method of lending is rupees 60 if total current assets is rupees 100. Current ratio in first method, since total current liabilities including bank finance would be rupees 80 against total current assets of rupees 100, the minimum current ratio under method 1 would be 100 divided by 80. That is, minimum current ratio is 1.25:1. Now, let us see Tandon's second method of lending, also called second method. In this method of lending, the borrower has to arrange 25% of total current assets as margin. If total current assets of a company is rupees 100 and other current liabilities is rupees 20, MPBF under second method is working capital gap is equals to current assets minus current liabilities, that is 100 minus 20 equals to 80. 25% of total current assets is equals to 100 into 25 divided by 100, that is 25. So the MPBF under second method is x minus y, 80 minus 25 equals to 55. MPBF under second method of lending is 55. Now let us see current ratio in second method of lending. Since total current liabilities including bank finance would be 20 plus 55 equals to 75 against total current assets of 100, the current ratio under method 2 is 100 by 75, which gives us 1.33:1. The minimum current ratio under method 2 would be 1.33:1. Now let us see the recommendations of the core committee. The core committee headed by Shri K.B. Kaur, appointed by RBI in 1975, recommended that all borrowers except SIC units have working capital of rupees 50 lakhs and over from the banking system must be placed under method 2, which gives current ratio 1.33:1. Hence, the benchmark current ratio is 1.33:1. Relaxations to this condition is available to export oriented units, products manufactured by MSME units, wherein banks may apply the first method. Now we will see assessment of working capital based on CMA formats. In this method of assessment of working capital, we use 6 CMA formats. We start from Form 1, which gives us total indebtedness of the borrower. Then we go to Form 2, which gives us operating statement. Then in Form 3, we do analysis of balance sheet. In Form 4, we see the comparative position of current assets and current liabilities. In Form 5, we do computation of MPBF. In Form 6, we see the funds flow statement. The turnover method or Nayak committee norms of working capital assessment. We will see the turnover method of lending. Under turnover method of lending, the aggregate fund based working capital limits are computed on the basis of minimum of 20% of their projected annual sales turnover. The borrower has to bring the margin of 5% of the annual turnover of such borrowers as margin money. Minimum working capital requirement envisaged at 25% of projected gross sales turnover. This method is applicable to borrowers with fund-based working capital limits up to and inclusive of rupees 5 crores. Working capital requirement. Working capital requirement is 25% of projected gross sales turnover. Minimum margin required is 5% of projected sales turnover. We assume average production business cycle of 3 months. In this method, drawings allowed in the account is on the basis of drawing power. Now let us see the example of turnover method. If projected sales turnover is 1 lakh, then working capital gap is 25% of turnover, that is rupees 25,000. Minimum permissible bank finance should be 20% of the turnover, which is 20,000, and margin money from the borrower should be 5% of projected sales turnover, which is rupees 5,000. This is turnover method or Nayak committee norms. So in turnover method, we see projected and accepted sales turnover. Then we go to 25% of turnover of A, margin at the rate of 5% of turnover of A, limit 25% of A, which comes from B minus C. Then we see the margin available in the system, that is net working capital. Then we analyze higher margin available in the system, that is C or E. In the next step, we see the limit permissible B minus F, which gives us the required limit of working capital. We will see cash budget method. In cash budget method, the pattern of financing the peak cash deficits is followed for industries dealing in seasonal products like sugar and tea, construction activities, film industries, order-based activities, etc. In the above type of industries, the requirement of finance may be peak during some calendar months, whereas the realization of sale proceeds takes place at a length of time. Under cash budget method, the bank finance is sanctioned based on projected monthly cash flows estimated by the borrower and approved by the bank. The current ratio for this kind of facility is normally 1.33:1 and 1.25:1 for MSEs as a benchmark. Some banks consider lower ratio on case-to-case basis depending upon components and quality of current assets and current liabilities. What cash budget method tells us? Cash budget method tells us the flow of cash receipts and payments and the gap. What are receipts and what are the payments? Cash budget method funds the gap after the required margin if any. By cash budget method, we can say profit is a myth and cash is a reality. Profit is an opinion while cash is a fact. Now let us see how we do analysis from cash budget statement. In this, we see the receipts of cash and payments of the cash. In receipts, we see cash sales, collection from debtors, other receipts, which gives us total of A. In payments, we see cash purchases, other manufacturing expenses, administrative expenses, interest on borrowings, other expenses, which gives us a total of B. Then we see the net gap available, which comes from A minus B. This tells us overall position of cash budget under all segments at net cash flows, working capital finance from banks and closing cash balance. The formula for cash budget statement is opening cash balance plus net profit shown by forecasted statement of profit and loss plus non-cash expenses plus decrease in current assets plus increase in current liabilities plus sale of fixed assets plus issue of shares and debentures etc. minus increase in current assets minus decrease in current liabilities minus purchase of fixed assets minus redemption of shares and debentures etc., which gives us closing cash balance. Cash budget method is similar to cash flow statement. Main difference is that cash budget takes into account the estimated figures of future period while cash flow statement considers the actual transactions. Now let us see the various determinants of working capital. The various determinants of working capital are nature and size of business, operating cycle, production, credit policy of the concern, seasonality of raw materials, seasonality of business, terms and trade for creditors and debtors, market fluctuations, and EXIM policy. Dangers of inadequate working capital. Inadequate working capital stagnates growth. Fixed assets are underutilized. Operating inefficiency creeps in. Difficulty to achieve the targets of business for production and profit. Difficulty to meet payment commitments. Situation of tight credit terms. Business reputation is at stake. Dangers of excess working capital. Excess working capital leads to accumulation of unnecessary inventories, risk of loss by theft and wastage. Excess working capital encourages speculation. It increases the scope for diversion of funds. It can lead to defective credit policy. It can lead to slack collection of receivables. It can lead to higher incidence of bad debts. Management complacent and ineffective. So what is the solution for this? The solution to this problem is assessment of optimum working capital, releasing the limits timely, and monitoring the account periodically. Friends, let us see a numerical on this based on Tandon's first method and Tandon's second method. You can see the liabilities and assets as on 31st March 2019. Now, in this, you have to identify the current assets and current liabilities. So friends, I am giving you a minute to calculate current assets and current liabilities. Now I think you all must have completed your calculations. So I move to the solution part. In working capital assessment method 1, total current assets is 217.48. Other current liabilities is 88.14. Working capital gap, that is TCL minus OCL, is 129.34. 25% of working capital gap is 32.34. Adjusted net working capital comes to be 32.34. And permissible bank finance is 97 lakhs. Working capital assessment under method 2. Total current assets is 217.48. Other current liabilities is 88.14. Working capital gap is 129.34. 28% of total current assets is 54.37. Adjusted net working capital is 32.34. So permissible bank finance is 74.97 lakhs. In the second method, the unit has to bring a margin of rupees 22 lakhs to avail the limit. Now let us see some important things to note in assessment of working capital. These are some important points which you should consider while doing assessment for working capital. The time period taken for holding raw materials, work in progress, finished goods and collection of receivable is of great interest in evaluating working capital. In the assessment of financial statements, bankers should examine whether the borrower is capable of achieving the projections made by him. Bankers also have to look into the following consideration for arriving assumptions of future production and sales. By looking into past trends in production sales, the extent of installed and available production capacities, availability of raw materials, labor, power supply, etc., competitive strength of the borrower, pricing policy of the management, risk, research, renovation and development, economic factors like demand for the product, import restrictions, etc. The profitability ratios are arrived to compare with the past trend and similar types of units in the same business. The profit ratios help bankers to assess the ability of the enterprise to earn profit from the sales, return on equity, return on total assets, account receivable turnover, test of the management's pricing policy compared to others in the business. It is necessary that the limit utilization is properly reflected by transactions, stock statements and turnover of the sanctioned limit before considering limit-based projection. Total purchase sales reflected in balance sheet, turnover of debits, credits in the current CC account for the full year period of balance sheet. If any disparities are noticed by the appraising officers, inquiries should be made and the reply from the borrower should be convincing. Many a times transactions routed through some other channel, bank, will come to the notice of the bankers through above type of counter verification. So friends, this is all for today for the assessment of working capital. We have done some important discussions in this video regarding working capital and its assessment and monitoring. So if you like the video, please like and subscribe our channel, and if you have any doubt, please comment on the video. Thanks for watching the video. For more videos, stay tuned to our channel. That's all for today. Stay tuned and goodbye.